Welcome back to The Line. The New Mexico Coalition for Charter Schools sent a letter to the Public Education Commission claiming that the Public Education Department is unfairly targeting and micromanaging charter schools. The coalition specifically mentions the PED's Charter Schools Division Director Katie Poulos in that letter. The PED and Charter School Coalition is set to meet in the coming weeks. Nandy, what did NM Political Report find when you looked into the background on this issue? A couple interesting things here.
Yeah. There is definitely some frustrated charter schools. Their argument is that these are nonprofit charter schools that are really trying to better education in the state, and they are getting that the for-profit schools are getting favored. There's a company, K-12, that's had a lot of attention here. They run or have kind of been running some schools in New Mexico. And I think there's an argument there that, well, first of all, it's not legal to do that. Right. Our charter schools are set up to be nonprofit, and K-12 says we're not running the school. There's actually a board of directors there, and so I think what we.
Let me stop you right there. That's a good one. That's a good one. This is a for-profit company, and they're saying we're not making a profit from this school because the board of governors is running this school. That's how it works. That's interesting. How is that possible if our state law says you have to be a nonprofit?
I think ultimately, from my understanding and my reading and research, is that the Secretary of Education, Hannah Skandera, kind of can override some things. I mean, she's not necessarily breaking the law, I don't think, but a lot of people have called it a loophole. Former Attorney General Gary King issued an opinion that said, I guess it was a non-binding opinion saying you guys shouldn't be doing that, but K-12 I think has insisted all along, we're not actually running this school. There's actually a board of directors, just like any other charter school in New Mexico, that's running some of these.
Tom, is that pass muster for you? What do you think on that one?
It all depends who has the contracts with those K-12 schools. You know, charter schools exist primarily because you have schools in 151 districts throughout the state of New Mexico that have failed to communicate relevance, you know, to parents and to students to say we have a viable option for you. So as a result, we have 95 different charter schools in New Mexico, which act as if they're their own little school district. And so, you know, to have one person, just from a management perspective, one person oversee 95 schools or school districts, if you will, is really crazy. Now, when you get into the larger conversation of, you know, what's the role of, you know, for-profit versus nonprofit, I think that, you know, this is an opportunity for nonprofits as well as for the for-profits to say, you know what, how are we going to help kids in New Mexico? Because, you know, that's what it really comes down to. And whether you're in the public school sector or the charter schools, you need to do a better job of communicating your story. And right now, you know, it seems as if this person at the New Mexico PED is really the one who's, you know, guiding the whole story. And because, you know, that person has done certain things, you have some of the 95 charter schools who have voiced a complaint. And now we can have a conversation. But I don't want to see lost in the conversation the performance of our children, because that's really at the foremost. You know, are they really making a difference or are they not? If they're not, let's get them out of there.
That's a good point. Well said, Dee Dee. You know, interestingly, when you think about, Tom mentioned Ms. Poulos and her job she has to do, you've got close to 30 schools now officially, 24 of them on the record on paper saying we have complaints, but another 4 or 5 saying they don't want to be on the record, but they agree. So we got 30 out of 95 charter schools having a problem. That, to me, that sounds like a big problem when you got a percentage like that.
Well, you know, there's been an exponential growth of charter schools. When I first came to the legislature, I think there were 5.
Wow.
And it has skyrocketed, I think, due to the fact that parents and kids want an alternative. They want an alternative, and they have found a way to use public funds to do so. There was a lot of ideological debate over this, as it was introduced first as a compromise between vouchers and the pure public schools debate.
That word voucher.
And so, you know, there was a lot to it. The the Board of Education, the State Board of Education was to oversee them. Then we did away with the State Board of Education. So the oversight did become a problem. And as Tom says, they each act as their own little district, and they have to do everything themselves. So it's a tough job, and they need help rather than, I think, constant criticism from an overworked PED. It seems to me, from what I see, the PED, every time they're criticized, says that it's because of politics, and they are they're working on it, but it's only these bad guys that are criticizing them, whether it be the state auditor or whether it be the charter schools.
Sometimes it comes down to Mary Torres, as Senator Feldman saying, when you've got a situation where it can come down to one person's opinion, you know, sometimes there's some fact in there, but basically there's one person kind of steering the whole thing, as Tom mentioned. Favoritism sort of comes along with that, or the appearance of it. Do you know what I mean? It puts that person, Ms. Poulos, in a very difficult position, it seems to me. She has a right to her own management style. She wants to micromanage. She can micromanage. I mean, that's not a big deal. But if one person overseeing 95 charter schools, does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't make any sense, and I think that's why these 29 schools want to sit down, and I think they're just, you know, being Aretha Franklin and saying, respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, you know, and we want to be at the table, and we want to have a meeting with you, and we want to air our grievances, we want them addressed, and we don't want to be retaliated against, and they're very concerned about, very concerned about that. And when I read that, the lawyer in me was going, you better be treating them, have equal protection here, and treating them all the same, and are these potential whistleblowers, you know, protecting themselves for later on.
That's right. Staying with you, this idea of for-profit charter schools versus nonprofit here. Has the door been opened here for something that we could have a big mess in our hands in a couple of years?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, my twin nieces just graduated from a charter school, valedictorian and salutatorian. My grandkids go to charter schools. So, and I was a former public school teacher. So I had some prejudice about that because I want money to stay in the public school districts, but we all want our kids to receive the best education possible. So anything that can happen to that, that's what I think
Let's hope they sit down and get this straightened out.
I hope so.
You know, it could work. It could work. That's all the time we have. Thanks for being here. I'm Gene Grant. Thanks for joining us this week for New Mexico in Focus. And as always, we appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus.
Funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and the Nalita E. Walker Fund for KNME-TV, the KNME-TV Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.